contain 1 mole of solute in 1 liter of the solution, which includes both solute as well as solvent, which includes both solute and solvent. So the mass of solvent is water. Mass of solvent is less than 1000 grams. Therefore, 1 molar solution contains 1 mole of solute in less than 1000 gram of solvent, whereas 1 molar solution contains 1 mole of solute in 1000 gram of solvent. Hence, 1 molar aqueous solution is higher concentration than 1 molar solution. That is, 1 m is greater than small m, because 1 molar aqueous solution contains 1 mole of solute in 1000 ml or 1 liter of solvent, which includes both solute as well as solvent, and the mass of the solvent is less than 1000 gram. Therefore, the 1 molar aqueous solution contains 1 mole of solute in less than 1000 gram of the solvent, whereas in molar solution 1 mole of solute present in 1 kg or 1000 gram of the solution solvent, and hence from this statement the 1 molar solution is higher concentration than 1 molar solution. The second statement is the correct one. Next one, next question is based on mole fraction. The question is, a solution has 36% water and 64% acetaldehyde by mass, mole fraction of acetaldehyde. They asked mole fraction of acetaldehyde. In this, assume the mass of the solution is 100 gram. Mass of the solution is 100 gram and the mass of water is 36 gram and mass of acetaldehyde is 64 gram. Mass or weight of water is 36 gram and weight of acetaldehyde is 64 gram and its molar mass of water is 18 and molar mass of acetaldehyde is carbon 2 into 12 24, hydrogen 4 into 1 4, oxygen is 1 into 16 total 44 is the molecular mass of acetaldehyde. Then we have to calculate number of moles of water and number of moles of acetaldehyde. The number of moles of water NH2O is equal to weight of water by molar mass. This is equal to 36 by 18. This is 2. Number of moles of water is 2 and number of moles of acetaldehyde is weight of acetaldehyde by molar mass of acetaldehyde. This is equal to 64 by 44. This one is 4 11s are 4 1 16 by 11. Then therefore mole fraction of acetaldehyde XCH3CHO is equal to NCH3 number of moles of acetaldehyde by total number of moles of acetaldehyde and water. NCH3COO plus NH2O. Number of moles of acetaldehyde is 16 by 11 divided by 16 by 11 plus 2. LCM is 11. 16 divided by 16 plus 22. This is equal to 16 by 38 and this one is rounded off to 4. 4s are. This is 0.4. Option 0. First option is 0.42 and this is the right answer. The first option, the mole fraction of acetaldehyde is 0.42 and similarly the mole fraction of water can also be calculated by using formula XH2O plus XCH3CHO is equal to 1. Sum of mole fractions of all the components is always unity. CH3CHO, this is equal to 1 minus 0.42, this is equal to 0.42 means 0.58. This is the mole fraction of water. Next question. In the 13th question, options are as same as that of 12th question. First, the question is the mole fraction of oxygen in a mixture of 7 gram of nitrogen and 8 grams of oxygen. Here the first option is 0.3. First option is 0.3. Second option is 0.1. This one is correct. And third option is 0.4 and last one is 0.5. These are the correct. First option is only some typographical mistakes. The first option is 0.3, second one is 0.1, third one is 0.4 and last one is 0.5. Here the mole fraction of oxygen in a mixture of 7 gram of nitrogen and 8 gram of oxygen. They given mass of nitrogen and oxygen, and we know the molar mass of nitrogen as well as oxygen. First, we have to calculate the number of moles of nitrogen as well as oxygen. Wn2 is equal to 7 gram. Molar mass of nitrogen is 28 and WO2 is 8 gram. Molar mass of oxygen is 32. From these values we can calculate number of moles of nitrogen. Wn2 by Mw, this is equal to 7 by 28, 7 4s, this is equal to 1 by 4, and NO2 is equal to WO2 by Mw, this is equal to 8 by 32, 8 4s, 1 by 4. The number of moles of nitrogen and oxygen both are same. Therefore, mole fraction of O2, mole fraction of oxygen XO2 is equal to NO2 by NO2 plus NN2. 1 by 4 divided by 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4, 1 by 2, this is 0.5. The mole fraction of oxygen is 0.5 and the mole fraction of nitrogen is also 0.5, and the option is fourth one is right answer. The mole fraction of oxygen as well as nitrogen both are same. Next question is, calculate the mole fraction of alcohol in 3 molar aqueous ethanol. Calculate the mole fraction of alcohol in 3 molar aqueous solution of molar aqueous ethanol. First option is 0.24, 0.051, 0.089 and 0.098. Here to calculate the mole fraction by using molality of the solution, a relation is mole fraction of solute is equal to molality divided by molality plus 1000 divided by molecular weight of solvent. In the given question, calculate the mole fraction of alcohol in 3 molar aqueous solution. The solvent is water. Aqueous solution means solvent is water and solute is ethanol. And the molality value is given and that one is 3 mol. Substituting the values in the above equation, 3 divided by 3 plus 1000 divided by molar mass or molecular weight of solvent, that is water, is 18, and this is 3 by 3 plus 1000 divided by 18 is 55.55. This is equal to 3 divided by 58.55, and this one is rounded off to 60, and the given the answer for the question is 0.51. This is rounded off to, this one is 300 into 10 raised to minus 2 divided by 60. This is 5. 5 into 10 raised to minus 2 means 0.05. This is the mole fraction of 3 molar aqueous solution of alcohol. Next question is, the mole fraction of glucose in 10% weight by weight aqueous solution is approximately. Here mole fraction of glucose in 10% weight by weight aqueous solution is approximately. The given solute is glucose and solvent is water. In this, weight by weight means weight of glucose is 10 gram and weight of water is 90 gram. In this, weight of C6H12O6, this is glucose, is 10 gram, because they given 10% weight by weight aqueous solution, and weight of water is 90 gram, because the total weight of the solution is sum of weight of solute as well as solvent. 90 plus 10, that is 100 gram. And molecular weight of glucose is 180, and molecular weight of water is 80. From the weight and molecular weight, we have to calculate the number of moles of glucose, C6H12O6. This is equal to W by MW. This is equal to 10 by 180. This is 1 by 80. And number of moles of water, this is equal to W by MW. Weight by molecular weight, 90 by 80. From this, we have to calculate the mole fraction of glucose. Mole fraction of glucose, C6H12O6, this is equal to NC6H12O6 divided by NC6H12O6 plus NH2O. This is equal to number of moles of glucose 1 by 18 divided by 1 by 18 plus 90 by 18. LCM is 18. 1 divided by 1 plus 90, this is equal to 1 by 91. 100 into 10 raised to minus 2 divided by 90, this is 1.1 into 10 raised to minus 2, this is equal to 0.011. The mole fraction of glucose is 0.011 is the mole fraction of glucose. Thank you. Good morning, students. The multiple choice questions, solutions of multiple choice questions of solution. Next questions based on vapor pressure and Rolle's law. The 16th question is, a solution contains 0.1 mole of non-volatile solute and 4.9 moles of solvent. Its relative lowering of vapor pressure is, option A is, first one is 0.1, 0.5, 0.02, 0.01. This question is based on vapor pressure and Rolle's law. They asked relative lowering of vapor pressure and they given mole fraction of non-volatile solute number of moles of non-volatile solute is 0.1 and solvent is 4.9. From the relation, relative lowering of vapor pressure, that is P naught minus P by P naught is equal to XB. XB is nothing but NB divided by NA plus NB, number of moles of solute by total number of moles of solute and solvent. From this relation, the relative lowering of vapor pressure can be calculated by knowing the number of moles of solute as well as solvent. That is P naught minus P by P naught is equal to number of moles of non-volatile solute is 0.1 and solvent is 4.9 plus 0.1. This is equal to 0.1 divided by 5 and this is equal to 10 into 10 raised to minus 1 divided by 5. This is 2. This one is 0.1. 0.1 means 10 raised to minus 2 and 0.02 is the relative lowering of vapor pressure. Option third one is the right answer. The relative lowering of vapor pressure is always equal to mole fraction of non-volatile solute component when solvent is alone volatile. This is the another statement for Rolle's law, and XB is nothing but NB by NA plus NB, and from knowing the values of number of moles of solute and solvent, we have to calculate the relative lowering of vapor pressure. Next question is, seventeenth question, the vapor pressure of a solution increases. The vapor pressure of a solution increases. First option is the temperature is increased. The vapor pressure is directly proportional to temperature. With increase in temperature, vapor pressure of solvent or solution increases. In the first option, the temperature is increased, the vapor pressure of the solution is also increases. Second one is volume is increased, there is no effect on volume. And next one is the number of moles of solute is increased. If the number of moles of solutes increases, the vapor pressure decreases. Vapor pressure is inversely proportional to number of moles of solute. If the number of moles of solute in the solution increases, vapor pressure decreases. And last one is none of these. The first statement is the correct one. If the temperature increases, vapor pressure of the solution or vapor pressure of pure solvent increases. Next question is, at 74 degrees Celsius, vapor pressure of benzene is 640 mm of Hg. The vapor pressure of solution contains 3.68 grams of a solute in 53 grams of benzene at the same temperature is 615 mm of Hg. What is the molecular weight of solute? From the given data, they given vapor pressure of pure solvent benzene is 640 mm of Hg and vapor pressure of solution is 615 mm of Hg when 3.68 gram of non-volatile solute is dissolving in 53 gram of benzene. From the relative lowering of vapor pressure, P naught minus P by P naught is equal to XB. This is equal to NB by NA for a dilute solution. For dilute solution. In the denominator, NB is neglected because number of non-volatile solute particles are negligibly small as compared with number of moles of solvent. From this relation, P naught minus P by P naught is equal to WB by MB into MA divided by WA. WB is nothing but weight of solute, MB is nothing but molar mass of solute, MA is molar mass of solvent and WA is weight of solvent. The vapor pressure of pure benzene is 640 and the vapor pressure of solution is 615. This is equal to WB is 3.68 into molar mass of benzene is 78 divided by MB into weight of solvent is 53. Therefore, MB is equal to, this one is 3.68 into 78 into 640 by cross multiplying this one, and 640 minus 15 is 25 into 53. This is almost 3.12 and this is 12. Therefore, MB is 3.68 into 3.12 into 12. This is almost 138. And the answer is first one. First option is the right answer and this one is gram per mole. Molar mass of non-volatile solute is 138 and the option first is the right answer. Next question is, the boiling points of benzene, methyl alcohol, aniline and nitrobenzene are 80 degrees Celsius, 65 degrees Celsius, 184 degrees Celsius and 212 degrees Celsius respectively. Which of these have the highest vapor pressure at room temperature? They given 4 liquids and their boiling points, and based on their boiling point we have to predict the highest vapor pressure of liquid at room temperature. In this, vapor pressure of liquid is directly proportional to temperature. As the temperature increases, vapor pressure increases. But vapor pressure of liquid inversely proportional to boiling point. Boiling point is nothing but the temperature at which the vapor pressure of liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. This is represented graphically by plotting the graph vapor pressure versus temperature, and this line represents the atmospheric pressure. They given 50, 100, 150, 200, 250 in degree Celsius. The boiling point of methyl alcohol is 65 degrees Celsius. The boiling point of benzene is 80 degrees Celsius. Boiling point of aniline is 180 degrees Celsius, and that of nitrobenzene is 212. Vapor pressure of liquid becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. The boiling point of methanol is 65 degrees Celsius and it readily attains atmospheric pressure, and liquid boils at lower temperature, and this having higher vapor pressure. In this, the vapor pressure of methyl alcohol is very high, then second one is benzene, then aniline, and last one is nitrobenzene. The order of increasing vapor pressures of liquids of these benzene, methyl alcohol, aniline and nitrobenzene are vapor pressure first one is CH3OH, then C6H6, then C6H5NH2, and last one C6H5NO2, nitrobenzene. The vapor pressure is increases. Here the vapor pressure of methanol is higher than that of benzene, and the vapor pressure of benzene is higher than that of aniline, and the vapor pressure of nitrobenzene is higher than that of aniline, and the highest vapor pressure in these liquid is methyl alcohol having highest vapor pressure. Next question is, which of the following 0.1 m aqueous solution will have the lowest freezing point? Will have lowest freezing point. The freezing point is depends on number of solute particles. If the number of solute particles increases, then the freezing point decreases. If the number of solute particles in the solution increases, the freezing point is decreases. From these four options, first one, potassium sulfate, K2SO4. In aqueous solution, this is ionizes to form 2K plus SO4 2 minus. Second one is sodium chloride, NaCl dissociated into Na plus Cl minus. Urea and glucose, these are non-electrolytes. These are non-electrolytes and neither associate nor dissociate. And the number of particles in these solutes, the number of solute particles in K2SO4 in aqueous solution is 3 particles or ions. In NaCl, 2 particles or ions, and in glucose and urea only 1 particle, because this is non-electrolyte. And from the above statement, if the number of solute particles increases, freezing point decreases. In the question, lowest freezing point of solute is which one? Because the K2SO4 having highest number of particles 3, and this solute is the lowest freezing point, and the option 1 is right answer, because number of solute particles increases, freezing point decreases. Decreases means lowest freezing point is potassium sulfate. Next question is, which one of the following solution boils at the highest temperature? Which one of the following solution boils at the highest temperature? In the option, they given 0.1 m urea, 0.1 m calcium nitrate, 0.1 m aluminum nitrate and 0.1 m sucrose. The concentration of all the solutes are same, but the elevation of boiling point, increases with increase in the number of solute particles. Elevation of boiling point increases with increase in number of solute particles. In the first option, 0.1 m urea, only one particle. In the second option, 0.1 m calcium nitrate. This is dissociated into Ca2 plus 2NO3 minus, and the number of particles are 3 particles. Third one is 0.1 m AlNO3 twice. Here in aqueous solution, this dissociated into Al3 3NO3 minus. The total number of particles are 4 particles. And in the last option, 0.1 m sucrose, which contain only one particle, because urea and sucrose as well as glucose, these are non-electrolyte and neither associate nor dissociate in the solution, and the number of particles in urea and glucose are same, and that is only one particle. But in case of calcium nitrate, 3 particles are present, and in case of aluminum nitrate, 4 particles are present. And in this, the total number of particles are maximum in aluminum nitrate, and this is boils at highest temperature. The boiling point increases with increase in the number of solute particles, and aluminum nitrate containing 4 particles, and the maximum number of particles are present in aluminum nitrate solution, and this solution boils at highest temperature. Next question is, which of the following solution would produce maximum elevation in boiling point? In last question also we discussed the boiling point increases with increase in number of solute particle, and in the same way elevation of boiling point is also increases with increase in number of solute particle. Elevation of boiling point increases with increase in number of particles. In the four options, first one is 0.1 m glucose solution, second one is 0.1 m sucrose solution. Glucose and sucrose containing only one particle, because these are non-electrolyte, they neither associate nor dissociate. Third one is barium chloride. BaCl2 dissociated into Ba2 plus 2Cl minus. Number of particles are 3 particles. Then fourth one is MgSO4 dissociated into Mg2 plus SO4 2 minus, which containing only 2 particles in aqueous solution, and elevation of boiling point increases with increase in number of particles. In case of barium chloride, the number of particles are 3 and the elevation of boiling point is maximum in case of 0.1 m barium chloride solution. Next question is, a non-volatile solute A is dissolved in volatile solvent B. There are two components. Solute component is A, solvent component is B. A non-volatile solute A is dissolving in volatile solvent B. The vapor pressure of the resulting solution is, vapor pressure of solution is Ps. The vapor pressure of the pure solvent is, vapor pressure of solvent is Pb naught. If X denotes mole fraction of the component, which of the following is correct statement? If X denotes the mole fraction of the component, which of the following statement is correct? According to Rolle's law, Rolle's law states that for a solution of volatile liquids, the partial vapor pressure of each component in the solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction. In this solution, solvent is alone volatile and solute is non-volatile, and the total, according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, total pressure is equal to only Pb. Pb is nothing but vapor pressure of solution. This, according to Rolle's law, Pb is directly proportional to Xb, and Pb is equal to Pb naught into Xb. Pb naught is the proportionality constant and it is the vapor pressure of pure solvent, and substitute this in the above equation. Pb naught into Xb. Therefore, Ps is equal to Pb naught into Xb. This is the correct statement in the first one. Ps is equal to Pb naught into Xa. This is wrong. Second one is Pb naught is equal to, this is wrong, because total pressure is equal to, and third one is Ps is equal to Pb naught into Xb. This one is right answer, and this is also wrong. Next question is, at 70 degrees Celsius, vapor pressure of pure benzene and pure toluene are 500 torr and 200 torr respectively. In a homogeneous mixture of toluene with benzene,